Hey there, chat. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Ruin. I run the place. Did you miss me? Welcome back to West of Loathing. We are here in Frisco, and we are just about done. We have seen almost everything there is to see. We have done almost everything there is to do. And what we're gonna do at this point in time, since we did the train, is we're gonna go ahead and we've got the town here. You did it! Thanks, Bouse. No problem. We got the track laid right up to the station now. The first ever cross-territory railroad, thanks to the Manifest Destiny Railroad Company, and principally you. You did a real great job, Thurmpton Widget. Aw, shucks, don't mention it. So, we are the Spit King, and we are here to go check everything out now. This was a one-way train, so there's no sense in going in there now. Frisco is much flatter than I expected. Cluncy. Howdy, Cluncy. What can I get you? What have you got? 9 muscle, 9 moxie, 9 mysticality. Don't need none of that. What can you tell me about Frisco? Oh, it's a fine town. A fella named Samson Frisco founded it way back when the mines first opened up out this way, and everybody caught the fever. Mining fever? Yep, the kind you get from breathing too much dirt. Frisco was a doctor, you see. Ah, gotcha. That's a huge brawl over there. Oh, them fellas are always blowing off steam. I just let them go ahead and get their aggression out. So long as they keep over there, anyway. From what furniture... keep over there, away from whatever furniture I've got left. Let's see, what have you got? And, oh, we already looked at that. Don't mind me, I'm oblivious to reality. Sorry, no darts. Okay, so we can just go in here and dive into fight. So... drink. And shoot, Nanny. Woohoo! Alright, we got a decent wine out of the deal. Alright, so they're all just punching. We can jump in there and just punch some people. I forgot my hair flowers. A flyer of some sort. You got a comedy flyer. This is something you found on the ground in Frisco, which means that it's, in the absolute best case scenario, it's garbage. It's just nearly identical houses as far as the eye can see in that direction. Alright. Let's see. Now playing the final cutscene. Looks like somebody on that train got a job as a projectionist. Would you like to watch this movie? It's free because movies have only recently been invented, and nobody's figured out that they can charge for them yet. Note, doing this will not change anything about the world or your character. When the cutscene is over, you'll still be right here and you can keep playing if you want. Sure, show me the final cutscene. Well, okay, sure. Some folks say endings don't matter. But other folks, they like to know how things turned out. The consequences of their action, like. With the trains running again, Frisco thrived. People came from all over to seek their fortunes. But thanks to you, they didn't have to do it while on fire because some cow attacked their wagon. Yay! With the railroad completed and Norton ousted, Smee found himself out of a job, but in for an opportunity. After being elected mayor, he managed the growth and infrastructure of Frisco with compassion and pragmatism. In 1944, Frisco was named the most reasonable city by the Tuesday Evening Post. Hooray! And there he is, I think. After you got settled in, Gary climbed on the top of the tallest building in Frisco and shot spores every which way. They say his descendants still roam the West to this day. Little Gary. After she finished getting the bakery boys up and running, Louise moved to Frisco and opened up her own shop, specializing in artisanal breads and pies. Unfortunately, after some unknown vandal kept breaking in at night and destroying all the pies, she had to switch to a breads-only business model. Huh. Huh. Who is this unknown vandal? Thank you for your assistance. Hobart Buppets got the... Thanks to your assistance, Hobart Buppet got the photography bug. Or can we say the photography owl? Anyways, he opened up an art gallery so the citizens of Frisco would never again have to suffer from the inability to see pictures of owl skeletons whenever they wanted. Okay. Kurtz left the fort and set up a shop in Frisco. His fitness group skyrocketed in popularity. The group was entirely due to word of mouth, because the first rule of Kurt's Fit is you cannot stop talking about Kurt's Fit. Kurt's till it hurts. No Kurt's pain, no Kurt's gain. The cultist you rescued eventually joined a different cult, but the new one is quite a bit safer than the old one, since it's mostly about annoying people on the streets instead of unearthing ancient evil destructors. Huh. Unearthing an ancient evil destructor. Ah. They're little triangle heads. Instead of squares and circles. With your help, the professor gained enough knowledge about El Vibrato technology to start building his own. He opened a very successful consumer technology store in Frisco, and for decades people spent all their time staring at little computers in their hand instead of talking to one another. That's very obviously an iPhone shop. The musicians you sent to Dirtwater formed a band called Pear Life. They're popular with Frisco college kids, once a college opened in Frisco. Cool beans. Cool. Buffalo Bill retired from the killing trade and made a killing opening up a restaurant in Frisco. Buffalo, wild wings. Good old Buffalo Bill. He solved all of Brentwood's problems. With the increase in morale and civic resources, they were able to clear the weeds from the road and fix the well and the broken hitching post. There was even enough left over to give the mayor's office a new coat of paint, refresh the facade on the buttery biscuit and add a second story to the bunkhouse. They even managed to get the horse into rehab. Yay! Aw, look, the horse is walking on 4 feet instead of 2. Cool. Olive Garden and Cactus Bill lived happily ever after. They even had a few youngins. Aw. Yes. Chuck continued to run his blood and breakfast without incident, accident, scandal, or allegation for many years. You won 4 of the reenactment scenarios at Fort Memoriam. They still talk about you. Remember when Flirmton fella came through here? Yeah, he was really good at this game. With your help, Roy Bean's Jelly Bean Museum became the talk of the town. Well, first they had to build a town nearby. But once they did, whoo-wee! The guy is so excited. Like, yeah! Yeah, jelly beans! Dirtwater became relatively speaking, a thriving metropolis, thanks to your efforts as a commerce ambassador and all-around helpful stranger. The once sleepy town became a shining oasis in a barren land. Every man, woman, and child in the town knew your name. They even put up a little plaque with your name on it over the old room at the Jewel. Well, isn't that nice? There's a lot of people in here without hats, though. I was told you can't drink without a hat. But fine. Slop meat. As for you, after your adventure, you settled in Frisco, bought a very long, narrow house. You filled it with souvenirs of your exploits and started up an antique hat rack collection. When you left home, you told Rufus you wanted to seek your fortune. Unfortunately, you ended your adventure nearly penniless. Oh well, maybe Rufus can find somebody else to look up to. No! Uh-huh. Man, is there that many hats that I could have gotten that I did not? Yeah, there's the fungus hat. Miss Spittoon hat. Boy, did I... maybe I sold some hats. Maybe that's what I did. Is I should not sell any hats. Ooh, that music. In 1906, all the remaining cows in the west were simultaneously activated by some kind of signal from hell. They thundered east, forming a gigantic, single-minded herd. The bovine taint in your blood, not dulled by the passage of time, compelled you to join them. Oh. Fortunately, a gang of rodeo clowns swept in at the last minute and slaughtered the herd just before it reached Dirtwater. Unfortunately, all the found folks of Dirtwater had a hard time sleeping for pretty much the rest of their lives. Seriously, it was a grisly sight. 420 years later, deep beneath the ground, ancient machines silently stopped doing the thing they were built to do. It's probably fine. You and everybody you know are dead by then, and most of humanity has moved to space. Still though, it's a shame about the planet. There were some cool bars there. Really? Huh. So we need to do something with that room. Thank you for playing. The credits of Loathing. Okay. Alright game. Nice. Nice stuff. How nice. If you've enjoyed West of Loathing, you might also enjoy our free browser-based game, The Kingdom of Loathing, on the internet at kingdomofloathing.com. Okay, so some things to change. We need to get the bovine taint out of our system. We need to do something with the, I believe, the curious flat plane. Twig snaps in the wood behind you. You catch a moving shadow out of the corner of your eye, but nothing is there. You have the uncanny feeling you're being followed. Look, I'm on my way to somewhere. Can we just cut to the chase? A huge skeleton, much taller than any human, and with the structure and posture somewhere in between a human and a gorilla, smashes out of the undergrowth and charges at you. Brrr. Good, thanks. Hornswoggle. No, I want to fight. Big furry boots. Cool. 40 max HP. Alright, what is up here? This is definitely one of the largest hexagons you've ever seen. We already charged that. We can replace this. There we go. Primary terminal, select secondary terminal. Well... Ooh, local power terminal? Increase weather adjustment machine power. Primary terminal. I don't know, hold on. Let me see what happens when I change the weather. Oh. There's a big El Vibrato gizmo sticking up out of the ground here. It's got a button on top. Push the button. The machine makes a little ping sound. Abruptly, and from nowhere, clouds roll in. Oh, wow, 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 someone is a teaching of a button the Goblin Rain chant. Is teaching a button the Goblin Rain chant. You guys have a chant that makes it rain? Yes, takes months sometimes, but button is much better. Cool. Alright, what else is there? I wonder if anything changes when we leave it raining. But I wonder if you can leave it raining if you take it off the weather terminal. Local power destination planetary orientation device. Select local power destination. Municipal sedative pipeline? What does that do? I'm not sure what that said, but that did something. Current local power destination, Roberto Containment. Okay. Garbage return? You press the button and a huge pile of El Barbado scraps materializes behind you with a thud. Okay. A huge pile of El Barbado scrap. Take it. Whoa! Okay. Alright, so we just contained Roberto? Arm wrestle. Take the challenge. 70 XP. Woot woot. Alright. I didn't mean to cover those things up. What's in here? Time squeezer terminal. Primary terminal. Local power terminal. Roberto containment. Okay, so we put 2 people on Roberto containment. Yay. Okay, so we can make more old sticks of dynamite. But we do not need to, though. Ooh, okay, so the rain still works even though we diverted the power differently. Is that affecting anything else? No. I do not have moon bits to make moonshine. That is a bummer. But indeed it is a truth. Olive Garden's homestead. Defend yourself. Shoot. Okay, good. Nice. What have you got for us to harvest? Literally nothing. Oh wait, can I harvest these? I guess not, there's nothing there. Okay, so at the Kellogg Ranch, we learned about purification. In the front yard of a small adobe building just off the side trail, you see a young woman working on a broken water pump. She pauses to dramatically wipe sweat from her brow. Help her fix it. 50 XP, woot woot. We learned in here about... something that was supposed to help us get all of ourselves fixed up. Purity is the best sauce. Cool. Keep calm and enjoy nothing. Supposed to achieve purity glands, but I can't stand sleeping in these metal pants. They're so noisy, especially when I give you them hot secrets. The Diary of Blank Smith. First name is worn away, but you can tell it's longer than 7 letters. I think we did this. So you're a ghost, huh? Hello. Yes, it does appear so, and alas, without me to instruct them my regimen of purity, all my patients have fled. They're likely out ravaging the countryside in their own bodies. One cannot have purity of soul without purity of the body, you know. What is this whole purity kick about anyway? Threefold path. Lay it on me. Purity of glands must rid yourself of all romantic and sexual desires and cease any self-polluting activities. Like what? Smoking cigars? Well, yes, but I'm speaking more, you know, nighttime activities alone. What? Anyway, that's the first step. What's the second step? Purity of guts. This is accomplished through frequent cold water enemas. Whoa. And the consumption of wholesome and nutritious grain flakes, manufactured through my personal scientific developed recipe. What makes them different from any other breakfast cereals? Did you not hear me? The recipe is scientifically developed. Alright, what's the third step then? The final step is purity of muscles. I've developed an extensive exercise regimen featuring several workout machines that I have invented myself. Neat. All this together, what is it? My regimen eliminates corrupting influences from the body, thus purifying the body, mind, and soul. Well, that sounds like a good result to shoot for, and it works? It certainly does. Why, just look at me. You're dead. Only coincidentally. Okay. Most boring secret room. Is there anything in here? Kellogg's desk. Open the drawer. We got the grain flakes preparation already. So what is the formula? Your body is still wrong. Doesn't look like... Yep, no shroom growing there. Hooey. Is it in the dormitory then? Hot secrets. A brain aneurysm caused by an outrage at hearing a dirty joke. It's just empty now. There's nothing interesting left inside unless your interest is the least interesting portion of a pile of dirty laundry, which by definition you are probably not. This bed is empty. What the devil is the dough press, the oven? There was a book that explained this. I don't seem to have it. And there was no paper in here that I can remember. I might have to just look this one. Because I do know we were given the formula for this, and I just don't remember what it was. Kellogg brand workout regimen. So, warm-up stretching, lung expansion 2, equilibrium maintenance stretching, skeleton vibration 3, and cooldown stretching. Stretching, lungs, stretching, vibrate, stretching. So, Stretch Master. So insert your limbs. Strap yourself into the machine and allows it to inflict some warm-up stretches upon you. Lung. You put your mouth on the blast hole and turn the valve on the side of the machine. A blast of air inflates your lungs. Feels good. Suck it again. You put your mouth on the blast hole and turn the valve. Another blast of air stretches your lungs out even more. Feels great. Stretching. You get back in the stretcher, and when it's done twisting you around, you feel even more balanced than you did before. Skeletal agitator. Strap yourself in. You strap yourself into the machine and turn it on. Your skeleton vibrates inside you. It feels great. Your skeleton vibrates more, revealing bones and muscles you didn't even know you had by making them feel amazing. Your skeleton undergoes a cathartic third round of vibration. Every molecule of your body is now exactly where it's supposed to be. No, we do not want to mix it up anymore. Now we do cooldown stretches. You strap yourself into the stretching machine for a nice relaxing cooldown. Wow, you feel great. You feel the corruption leaving. You lost the perk corruption. Okay, so that should change us having corruption in the final cutscene. And then a couple other things that were left to our own devices here. Well, I'll take that. Just call me the Butcher. Okay, so he's still stuck there. And another thing we can do is we got a skeleton army from the Butterfield Ranch or something like that. From the Stearns Ranch. That's what it was. Nice view. Climb down. These guys seem like good beans. This table has a little model for the region on it. Deploy forces. You can probably get this army to attack a place by putting your little toy skeletons there on the diorama thing. Oh, we could kill off the carnival clowns. In the rodeo circus. Deploy to Barnaby Bob's perfectly normal traveling circus. Yeah, I don't want to launch it against the goblins. You put the toy skeletons around the little circus tent. Barnaby Bob's going to get quite a surprise tomorrow. Yeah! Okay, that should deal with 2 things. Actually, that might even be 3. Let's see. Open it. All right. Let's see how that changes stuff. Oh, wait. He said tomorrow, so I need to sleep. All right. I don't want to insult myself and pass out. Although I could, I guess. Insult yourself. You better not insult yourself anymore. You get any angrier and you're liable to pass out. Alright, let's just sleep then. You go to sleep. You dream that you're having a fight with a scorched black woodsman while fleeing from a cow. For some reason, you go out drinking with the giant squid. You wake up ready to face a new day. Well, okay then. You wake up refreshed and restored, and hungry and sober. Let's mosey. Day 6. Alright. First things first, where are we? They said that the army would attack the circus. Wow, these skeletons shorted a real number on this place. There's pretty much nothing left. Well, goodbye. Clown wart. Safe has cratered the ground as if it's thrown from a fair distance. Guess the skeletons brought explosives with them. Let's look inside. Barnaby Bob's burnished boots. The dial looks pretty complex and has a weird squiggles instead of numbers. Fortunately, the impact knocked it wide open, so that doesn't matter. It contains a few scorched and blackened fragments of what you think might be eggshell and a pretty nice pair of boots that seem undamaged. You got an item. Barnaby Bob's burnished boots. Okay. So good. I guess there's not much to be done. And now we can do the final cutscene again. Don't mention it. Show me. Some folks say endings don't matter. Here's the consequences. When the train's running again, Frisco thrived. Here come the peoples. With the railroads completed, Norton ousted, Smee found the most reasonable back in Boston. After you got settled in, Gary climbed on the top of the building and puppeted. Yay, the Garys! After she finished getting the bakery boys up and running, Louise moved to Frisco. Unfortunately, some vandals killing all of her pies. I know who the mysterious vandal is. It's that goblin that we met way back at the beginning who was shooting the pie safe. Yeah, General Cobb is coming around breaking stuff. Thanks to your assistance, Hobart Buppert got on the photography bug, or you could say the photography owl. Kurtz left the fort. The cultists were rescued. We're doing this nonsense. With your help, the professor gained enough knowledge to El Vibrato. The musicians you sent to Dirtwater formed a band. Buffalo Bill. All of Bedward's problems. We even sent the horse to rehab. Oh, wait. I missed that. Let me go back and look at what that said. Okay, so the one I missed was Olive Garden and Cactus Bill lived happily ever after, and a wandering band of goblins fell in the El Vibrato weather machine you unearthed and formed a cult around it. Due to the increased rainfall, both Olive's garden and her marriage were extremely prolific. Chuck continued to run his blood and breakfast without incident. You won 4 of the events. I talked to you. Yay. With your help, Roy Bean's Jelly Bean Museum became talk of the town. Glad you're right. Dirtwater became, relatively speaking, a thriving metropolis, thanks to your efforts. They even put up a little plaque. As for your adventure, you settled in Frisco and brought a very long, narrow house. Filled it with all our hats. When you left home, you told Rufus you wanted to seek your fortune. Fortunately, you ended up your adventure nearly penniless. Maybe Rufus can find somebody else to look up to. Okay, we can skip that. In 1906, all the remaining cows in the West were simultaneously activated by some kind of signal from hell. They thundered east, forming a gigantic, single-minded herd. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Unfortunately, since you somehow managed to trap Duke Bovicus on this side of the ground and cleanse yourself of your blood bovine taint, the army of cows had nobody to lead them. They thundered east in a chaotic mass. Oh, that's wildly different than what we saw before, where there was all these cows. The disorganized herd never even made it to a human settlement. 420 years later, deep beneath the ground, ancient machines silently stopped doing the thing they were built to do. Dang it. Alright, one more thing needs to change. See, I got power coming in there. Maybe you need to walk over there and do something. Thank you for playing. Alright, we'll skip this as quickly as we can. Something I should do is go ahead and just sell a bunch of stuff so I can have a bunch of money and I can make my brother proud. And we'll need to finish whatever the El Vibrato thing is, and then we'll call it. I believe that was here. Open it up. Wow. Medical gun. You feel you're being pushed way down. Powered destination. Municipal sedative pipeline? Roberto containment. Okay. Oh, wait. He's in the bottom of the deepest delve mine. We're gonna keep on going. Go to the bottom. We gotta clear all these guys out with our hornswoggle. There we go. Western Roberto containment powers online. Powers online. Initialize Roberto containment system. There we go. Oh. This definitely wasn't here before. Take the crown. El Vibrato crown. Ooh. And a vibrato shaped helmet. It's here. That's pretty good. I like it. I am the king of El Vibrato. Okay. And let's go to Frisco and sell our goods. Got 60 XP for leading our horse across. Yay. Money. What have you got? All right, now we can sell things. Let's sell this and this and this. When you left home, Rufus wanted you to seek your fortune. You ended your adventure with 11,259 meat. Respectable, but a little more middle class than you were hoping for. Alright. I guess we have to get a ridiculous number to get something different. Thundering chaos. And then they just never make it to this human settlement. Thanks to your cleverness, the world is not destroyed 420 years later. On the contrary, it remains undestroyed for millennia. Future generations don't know that they should thank you, but they definitely should. Cool. And that's the end of it. Well, I guess for West of Loathing, this really is the end of it. So, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you had a lovely time. Please leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, because I love to hear from you. West of Loathing is fun, silly, nonsense. I gotta do a lot of editing for this episode, in part because I'm super sleepy and falling asleep, but also in part because it just needed to have some stuff looked up. Anywho, we'll get into some other stuff. I'm not sure what we're gonna play next, but we'll play something fun next. Maybe some Octopath Traveler, maybe some other fun game, maybe Celeste, who knows. But, anywho, for those of you out there who actually did come for the journey, thanks for watching.